Who cares what they think? I surely do. Every move I've made, I've thought of the review. How will I look and what will they say? Will I win their love and approval for just one more day? Why do I do this? How can it be? Does it all stem from a deep root of a lack of love for me? And if this is so, how then do I grow? The answer becomes clear. Start loving the man who is standing in the mirror.
Welcome back to the Significant Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Rogers. You just heard Luke Falk read from his brand new book, The Mind Strength Playbook, releasing October 24th. If the name Luke Falk sounds very familiar, it's because it should if you are a college football fan. Luke is one of the most decorated NCAA Division I college quarterbacks in the history of the game. After 4 years of leading Mike Leach's daunted air raid offense at Washington State University, where they terrorized Pac-12 opponents with their aggressiveness and dominance. After his senior year, Luke would get drafted in the 6th round of the 2017 NFL Draft, but due to injuries, a lack of confidence, and as he states, not having a strong enough mind for that level, his NFL career was short-lived. He would soon move on to coaching, trying to chase the next big thing that was expected of someone with his resume. He would soon realize that he was chasing the wrong things and had lost his true identity. Luke's poem is one he wrote after his playing career ended and he moved into the world of coaching. It isn't just words on a page. It's a mirror into the journey so many athletes, coaches, and leaders wrestle with. That constant chase for approval, the pressure of outside voices, and the realization of purpose and values and self-worth. These are things I can definitely relate to when I was an athlete and coaching my own program. Before we dive deeper into our conversation, I want to pause and offer a word of caution. Luke and I talk about his close friend and teammate, Tyler Hilinski, who tragically took his own life during Luke's senior year at Washington State. This was a heartbreaking moment that impacted Luke in profound ways, and it continues to shape how he thinks about life, relationships, and mental wellness. Luke shares openly about what Tyler meant to him and about returning to Pullman this October to celebrate Tyler's life with Tyler's parents while raising awareness for mental health. I know this may be a difficult topic for some listeners, but it's also an important one. Conversations like this remind us that behind the stats, the wins, the highlight reels, athletes are human beings who carry very real struggles, and mental health is something we all need to take seriously for ourselves, our teammates, and our loved ones. Today, we'll dive into Luke's playing career, the lessons from the coaches who shaped him, his transition into coaching, and why he believes mind strength is the ultimate separator for athletes, parents, and leaders. And of course, we'll talk about the heart behind the Mind Strength Playbook, a resource I believe every competitor and coach will want in their hands after getting to meet this young man and listening to his heart and his purpose. This is going to be a powerful conversation about performance, pressure, and purpose. So let's get started. Here's my conversation with Luke Falk. Luke, so great to see you, man. I'm so excited about this journey you're on, and thanks for being on the show today.
I appreciate you having me. Looking forward to it.
Man, I have followed your career, and I went back and watched a bunch of your games this week and your highlights. And it brought me back to that time because I was always a Mike Leach fan. As a basketball coach, I was a run and gun. We ran the system as a coach, and I wanted to run everybody off the floor. So when Mike started doing what he was doing on the football field, I was like, okay, this is my kindred spirit on the football field. Did you feel that right away when you got to Mike?
Certainly. Yeah, in high school, I came from a system where we threw the piss out of the ball. We set records for completions, attempts, and games. And advice that we got from somebody that was helping us in the recruiting process was pick 5 schools that you really want to go to. And at the top of the list was Washington State because for that exact reason, Coach Leach was going to throw it. And when I got there, I really got to see his mentality even more in depth because we're on the road, we're playing at Oregon, and we're up 21 points in the fourth quarter. And I'm checking quick game, I'm checking runs to try to bleed the clock out. And I get to the sideline, we just kick a field goal, so we go up 24, I think. And he goes, "You're a career bunter, aren't you?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" "You just love bunting." And he's, "Let's attack." He's just getting on my case about not being aggressive enough. And here I am trying to bleed the clock out. But he wanted to score. throw it all over the field. And really, when I was in college coaching, that offense, I just love it because really the identity of it is to attack them where they're weak. If they have a light box, we're going to run it. If they load the box, we're going to be able to go throw it all over. I just love the way that he approached the game from that standpoint, although frustrating at certain times.
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine. He was a piece of work, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was. And do you have a pirate infatuation and otherworldly things as well that are outside of basketball like he did? He didn't want to talk football ever.
No, I'm a junkie, man. I'm a football junkie. With sports, I'm there. There's no Pirates. I'm a Cubs fan, so I stay away from everything Pirates.
It's good
Unless
stuff.
I'm talking about Roberto Clemente, then I can do that. I'm so curious, and I want to save some of this we're going to have a great recruiting talk here in a little bit. But I'm so curious, again, watching you play again. You made every throw, Luke, and I'm not trying to build you up. I'm not trying to make you feel good about yourself. But that often, you look at the routes your receivers were running and the deceptiveness and the space. Could you even think about playing you guys man-to-man?
Oh, I loved when teams did. The kryptonite for us was the Chris Peterson defensive Boise State tree
Right.
where they rush 3, play some cloud coverage 3. Anyways, they had P coverage or they'd do supplemental pressure. And so that was challenging. But yeah, when teams played us man coverage, they had recruited at such a high level too, along with our system. It was awesome. Like we played Oregon State in 2015 and they played cover 0 and we had 6 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah.
A lot of teams really kind of went away from that. Arizona State would do some stuff. You're always guaranteed to get hit by them, but just a really fun system. And I think Coach Leach, a lot of coaches could learn from him. Have an identity, have a system. Don't just have plays. When I got into college coaching, was fortunate enough to be able to have my buddy Trey Tinsley as a receiver coach, and he would always use this. So many offenses are just Applebee's. They've got everything, but nothing's great. When we were with the air raid, sure, we had a limited menu. We might have been the in and out, but we were excellent at executing that in and out menu. And we could tweak, we could do certain things. And maybe what people would say Coach Leach's fault is that we didn't adapt enough. But the guy won everywhere he went at places you're not supposed to win. 9 wins, 10 wins, 11-win seasons in Starkville, Lubbock, and Pullman. Those are tough places.
How many coaches were pulling you aside after a game, after you just beat the heck out of them? You beat Oregon 4 times, for crying out loud. How many coaches were pulling you aside and saying something like, I don't know how we missed you. I don't know how we didn't get you on our radar.
Yeah, after the fact, I had a number of them, especially in state, right? Utah State's 5 minutes up the road.
Right.
And Coach Anderson was there, and it was fun for me because we got to play him when he was at Oregon State. So it was kind of like, hey, 3 times in my career, I got to give him a reminder that you missed on me. And his two twin sons were my friends. We played on the same team.
That's why I'm baffled. No one on recruited you. Just bad.
Yeah, Weber State, nothing. Yeah. Dixie State, which is now Utah Tech, nothing. Southern Utah, nothing. BYU, Utah, nothing. No, not even walk-on opportunities. So for me, it was very fulfilling coming back to Utah and being able to break the Pac-12 passing touchdown record at Rice-Eccles in my home state in front of a Kyle Whittingham, who obviously passed me up. And I get it. Had I gone anywhere else, though, I don't know if I would have had the success that I had. In fact, I know I wouldn't have because I went to the perfect situation, to the perfect coach, to the perfect team. And anyway, the stars really did align for me there, looking back on it now.
It's just so cool to watch because your footwork and your confidence, kids grow. I'm sure they coached the heck out of you to get you where you were. You didn't get the starting job right away. There had to be an injury. You had to earn that spot. It was late sophomore year when you finally got on the field, right?
So I got super lucky. My redshirt freshman year, I got put on scholarship. So 1 year after being there, because guys transferred out. And literally, so in my recruiting class, we had a 4-star quarterback. And so him and I, our first spring together after the fall season, we're competing for the backup role. And I had beat him, and then he transferred out that summer. So I got put on scholarship. And then I think week 9, we played USC, and our starter broke his leg. And then I played that game, and then I started the next week. And ever since then, I was a starter. So I was a 3+ year starter as a walk-on, which my mind's boggled with that whole situation and scenario.
I'm going back and watching those first couple of games when you're on the field, and I see so much confidence in you. Where does that come from? Where does that, being a walk-on, earning that right, all of a sudden I'm sure you're always thinking, I got to be ready to go in the game, but nobody's ever ready for that first one, being in a stadium, being on that field with that many people watching you. What was that like that first time on the field, knowing you were about to take a snap in a Division I game?
Was incredible. It really was. And I didn't have a lot of confidence in high school. I didn't have a lot of confidence in youth sports or any of that. And really the difference maker for me is I started working on my mind. My parents invested in a sports psychologist for me going into my senior year of my senior season, maybe a month beforehand. And so you compound that with that year, my redshirt year, and now I'm in my redshirt freshman year. So that's 3 years of working on my mind as diligently as I had my body with a guy who was incredible as a mentor and a coach for me. His name's Dr. Craig Manning. I owe him a lot. And so when my moment came, I really, truly was prepared for it. Each week, I prepared like I was the starter. Okay, I didn't get the starting reps, but after practice, I walked through them. I threw the routes with them. Film preparation. I'm making comments to the coaching staff about, hey, this is what I'm seeing this week. I think these plays would be good. I did that as a backup. And one of my most fulfilling things in college, we're playing Cal, and they're playing this shell coverage, middle field open type of deal. I'm like, hey, if we ran a corner post here off of our concept, it would be open. Well, we did that. We threw a 90-yard touchdown pass, and I had called it in during that game to our quality control guy at the time, Eric Mealy. And I was like, Coach Mealy, he was the one that found me, so shout out to him. Without him, nothing happens. So I called it up. I said, hey, it's time to run that. Within a few series, they called it. And for me, that was as fulfilling as anything. And I took that confidence of, hey, I'm seeing the picture. I'm understanding this offense. And I had a lot of coaches that worked with me. I had our running backs coach, Jim Mastro, mentor me in the run game, and our offensive line coach mentor me in the run game that helped me create a mastery around this offense because yes, it's simple, but as long as the quarterback knows the intricacies of it, it can be complex for teams because the quarterback can get you in and out. He's the magic eraser. And so I think that's what Coach Leach does a great job of, and his staff did a great job of preparing me. So when my moment did come, yeah, I absolutely had nerves. We were playing USC. I just watched Connor, our starter, break his leg by Leonard Williams. We're getting our butts kicked. But there was also a component, and I've talked about this in my mind strength training, I was playing with house money. What did I have to lose? I was a walk-on. I'm not a 4-star. I'm not a 5-star. Nobody expected me to be on the field, so it allowed me to play like I was playing with somebody else's money. I played free. Shoot, I cut it loose that year. That was probably the most free I've ever played in my entire life, that redshirt freshman year. And sure, did I make mistakes? Absolutely. I threw 4 interceptions against Arizona State. I also threw 600 and something yards that game as well. What a great learning for me. I also called my own number in a quarterback sneak on a 4th down when we're on the 1-yard line and they're playing double threes up front that we had worked on. So I was just like, I felt, and probably Leach liked me that year better than any year besides maybe my sophomore year because there was just your kind of maverick mentality. I just F it mentality, it's a Falk it mentality. And had so much fun. And I had put all the preparation to allow me to have that type of confidence.
What I get excited about as a coach is hearing you talk about the ownership of what you were doing. And your coaches were accepting you taking that ownership, saying, hey, I see this. We need to run this. It's going to work. And they were going, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, totally. And
happened.
Yeah, hats off to them. No, and that's the thing about Leach. Yeah, we all have an ego, but he let you have autonomy of the offense. If it worked, great. If it didn't work, yeah, you're going to get your butt chewed. But it's really, what did that allow me as a player to do? Golly, I invested, I studied. It's like I wanted that opportunity. And so I knew I could say I have a PhD in the air raid because it's like they allowed me to, rather than just telling me what to do all the time.
Let's talk about the transition from college to the NFL. Okay. Lean here a little bit. I want to talk about a couple things before I want to lead into your book here. I'm a Bears fan. So there's so much talk about Caleb Williams right now, never being under center at USC. Okay. Were you ever under center?
Quarterback sneaks, and then we had a couple plays. Green fake Z quick, 85 double under. That would have been a play that we were under center.
But we're talking what? 5%?
No, maybe 2%.
2%.
Yeah.
How much do you see that as a negative trying to go to the NFL, not having that experience under center?
I think that it's just a different style, right? It's like they're working on different footwork, and quite frankly, Leach never coached me on footwork. He didn't care. It's as long as you got the ball out on time, right? So I came from a system that had very little structure with that type of stuff. Then I go play and I get drafted in the West Coast system with Coach Matt LaFleur. And it's if the ball's not out on this timing, you're getting reprimanded. So it just went from no structure to ultra structure, which was different. But really what was the biggest thing for me is my headspace, my mindset. Had I been in a different headspace, had I been in that walk-on mentality, I have no doubt I'd still be playing today. In what capacity? I don't know, whether I'm a starter, whether I'm a backup, because I would have taken to it just like I did to the air raid, and I would have med extra, done all the things, but I allowed a victim mentality where I felt entitled that I fell so far in the draft because I had this mindset, agents telling me after my junior year, you'd be a second-round pick, third-round pick if you go right now. I didn't. When I wanted to go back to Washington State to go win a championship. And quite frankly, I didn't feel good enough to go at the next level at that time. I had imposter syndrome. And part of that really, I think, came out, I call it in my chapter 3, like the inner critic, right? The inner critic and my internal success thermostat. Oh man, I surpassed it. So what I do, I brought myself right back down to where I felt more comfortable. And I played bad my senior year. I didn't do what it was necessary. So I needed to have an internal shift, and I didn't quite do that. So yes, there are differences between the air raid and the NFL. And when I watch NFL games now, though, shoot, a lot of them are in the gun. A lot of them are transitioning to what the college game is.
Yep.
So I just think you got a different era of football. But had I been in a different mentality, I think I would have been just fine. I also had a wrist injury. So not to say that this contributed anything, but so I broke my scaphoid against Boise in week 2 on play 3. I think Leighton Vander Esch, remember that linebacker for the Cowboys? So he was with the Broncos or with Boise. I think he got me from behind and then broke my wrist. So play all year with it. And then they do a scan. So your scaphoid, it's one of those bones. Apparently it doesn't heal on your own. I'm sure you know it well. I'm sure basketball people have had it.
Yep.
So then they did a scan on it. And my doctor, our team doctor, called me up and said, hey, your bone's not healing properly, blah, 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 blah. If you don't get the surgery right now, you could lose it in terms of it never heals. So I got the surgery, don't play in the bowl game. And that injury still bothers me to this day. So taking under center snaps, I was taking under center snaps with a guy who was at USC who had never himself snapped the ball under center. They're in the gun. He's snapping to me, hitting my bottom hand, which is my surgically repaired wrist at this time, and it felt like a lightning bolt hitting my wrist every time. So I'm like, I hate going under center, let alone. So had I not had those things, different mentality, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal being under center versus not. And here's the thing too, the more athletic you are being under center, I think you have a greater chance. In the gun, I didn't have to do anything. In under center, I had to go meet Deion Lewis on a stretch play and beat him to the point, or Derrick Henry on a stretch play and beat him to the point. I'm by far the slowest guy probably on the field, maybe behind one of our guards, and they might have been up there with me. So there was a little bit of anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to get this handoff, or am I going to get the exchange here? So my mind, rather than going, okay, what's the rotation doing? Who's got what? I'm thinking, oh, I got to get the snap. I got to get to the running back.
Yeah.
So
it's tough to ever play any game when that's how your thought process is, when you're thinking about every little thing instead of flowing and
totally
moment and reading. Let me switch roles with you. Let's say you're the quarterback's coach that drafts you for the Titans, Tennessee.
Yep.
How would you have coached you differently? Not to be critical of these guys. Oftentimes the GM's making the final decision, especially in the 6th round, you're taking the best player you can. We need a quarterback, and you're the guy that's there highest on our board. How would you have handled you differently in that first year if you were in that position?
Well, that's a good point, and nobody's asked me that. And the guy that I had, he was a great human being. I'm a phenomenal human being. I think the point that I probably would have done is he's learning the offense just like I am. So he's learning LaFleur's offense just like every coach is. The questions I have, he might not know the answer to. And it's almost like we had a buddy system where I'm not going to throw him under the bus and he's not going to throw me under the bus. So one, I'd say know my stuff better than as good as the coordinator so I can help this kid know what's going on. And then trying to take me under if I'm his coach, I'm trying to take me under the wing in terms of, hey, let's go work on the fundamentals and the mechanics that you really probably haven't done as a college athlete that we're going to do now. And you know what? To his credit, he did a lot of that at practice. He did. And it's the earnest is, I think, on the player to go seek the help and to consistently do that. And I didn't. But I think the biggest thing is, I was just thinking, I think the biggest thing is just, you got to know what you're coaching on. Too often I've seen it. We had a receiver coach come in when I was in college, and he didn't know the system. So here he's trying to coach, and you don't know the system. How are you supposed to coach these guys effectively? Same thing when I got into coaching. The guys that didn't know and have a comprehension of what we're doing on offense, you can't coach effectively. And then it's like the kid doesn't do the job, and then the coaches, I told him, and it's like, hey, sorry, guys, sorry, I didn't get, because a lot of these coaches, you probably know it, it's CYA. It's cover your own ASS, right?
Nope.
Rather than what I think would serve them well is take ownership. Coach, I didn't get him on that. We didn't go over that here. But a lot of these guys, it's their livelihood. It's what they need. So what are they going to do? You're going to survival mode. And what is survival mode? CYA. Let me tell you what you want to hear.
That's right.
Let me do this, that, and the other. So I think just in coaching in general, you got to know your material. You got to know your stuff. Take ownership. And, what I loved with Coach Leach, his son, one of the favorite things that Coach Leach said, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen.
That's right.
You're either coaching it or allowing it to happen. It's like that makes you put a microscope on everything that you do. I even have that. He even had that mentality with quarterbacks. Can I share something real quick?
Please.
I think it's great for anybody listening to it, whatever sport, coach, parent, whatever, business. So he would say all sacks are on the quarterback. And we all know that's BS. That's a lie. Sometimes it's not. But with that mentality, what does it force you to do? I could have got the ball to my running back. Could I have made a protection change? Could I have got us into a better play call? Could I have gone somewhere else with the football? It's putting the ownership and the control in you, which then you can improve. Now, obviously, I didn't do a great job of that when I was in college. I averaged like 30 plus sacks a year. But had I had that mentality, it would have helped me. Same thing. How about when a receiver drops the ball? You can't control that. But what if you took the ownership that it was all on you? Was my pace good? Did I make the right read? Did I put the ball where it needed to be? How about if the receiver misses the signal or a play call or somebody didn't get it? Did I go over a signal meeting with them? Did I communicate clearly? Did I work with this guy extra? So it's putting the responsibility and the earnest on you. You can use that in any phase of your life. Sure, there are things you can't control. I get that. But what can you? Take extreme ownership. It's like that Jocko Willink book of extreme ownership, which I think if we all did that, not only in athletics, but in our everyday life, oh my gosh, we're thriving as a society. But a lot of people CYA. Hey, let me blame. It's not me. They deflect. And it's like they don't have the security in themselves to admit that, hey, I was wrong. That's an insecurity that won't allow you to take in ownership, in my opinion. And moments in my life when I felt insecure, those are the moments that I haven't taken ownership.
It's such great teaching perspective, Luke, what you're talking about. You talk about society. We're in a society right now that doesn't start with a mirror. We start by pointing and criticizing and vitriol, and it's got to be their problem. My left tackle didn't pick up the blitz. My running back wasn't where he was supposed to be. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, what could I have done better? What could I have done better to coach these guys? What could I have done better to prepare?
Yeah, Bears story. You're a Bears fan. So I'm at the Senior Bowl, and my agent was good friends with a guy that was in the front office with the Bears, and they were doing us a favor. They're going to do a mock interview for me with the entire organization at that time to prep me for what was coming, the NFL draft. And so I go in there, and I think I kill it, right? They put me
Ryan Pace?
ringer. I think it was Ryan. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Ryan Pace.
Okay.
I'm sure it was. We could go back and look at it, who the GM was. I'm telling you, there were 20 people in that room. There were Nagy was in that room, right? Yeah. So you walk in and they put you through the ringer and all that. And I'm telling you, I think I crushed this thing. In fact, I'm like, I might go to the Bears, even though they don't need a guy. They drafted Trubisky the year before. I'm like, I might go there. We get the feedback. And my agents, I'm like, what'd they think? They're like, they hated it. They didn't think you did a good job. They thought you threw Coach Leach under the bus too much. I'm like, what? And in my victim mentality at that point, well, guess who I pointed the finger to? Leach. Oh, if Leach didn't bench me, if Leach didn't do this, if Leach didn't do that, if Leach didn't do this, how does that look as me? This guy didn't take ownership of anything. This guy has no clue about who needs to improve. Me, right? So obviously the Bears didn't draft me. And that mentality stuck with me my entire NFL career. It stunk. I victimed my way out of the NFL because of that right there. I blamed. I made excuses. I was entitled. I was the same draft pick as Tom Brady. Brady felt gratitude for the opportunity. I felt slighted. Brady took the most of his opportunities like I had as a walk-on. Me, they'll never give me a chance. They've already spent too much money on these other guys. Meanwhile, I'm getting more reps than I ever did my entire life on my freshman year. It's just the perspective that you have of it, the gratitude. I butchered this story beforehand, but it's the talent story in the Bible. What are you going to do with what you have? And if you do great with what you have, you're going to get more. And as a walk-on, sure, I had one talent and I got more. And in the NFL, it's like I had more talents, yet I did less with them. So guess what? It got taken away from me. I wasn't a good steward of the gifts.
I was guilty of it just as much as you were when I was that age. And it's a pandemic. I have all these kids that I work with, all my recruits that I work with, 90% of them, it is their biggest obstacle. And it's the tip of their nose. They can't get past it. How do we teach it, Luke? And I know you've written this great book, the Mind Strength Playbook, and I know you've been dropping some things from it already. How do we get kids? How do we get that 16, 17, 8-year-old to start understanding this value system that you're talking about, where it starts with me and it has to end with me as well?
You got to coach it. What are they surrounded by right now? Society, media, it's fault. It's that party's fault. It's this, it's that. And everybody's focus is on things they can't control. So you have to coach them properly. And that's why I love Mind Strength, because there's really a mind strength movement going on right now because it's so needed. And it's a system that can train somebody sequentially how they can develop it. And what does it do? It helps you in sports. Sure, I want it to. I want you to get the quote unquote external scoreboard. But what I'm really after is how can it help you in your life? How can you have that inner mastery so that no matter what happens in the external world, you can have a process and a way of being able to deal with it. Right now, everybody's focus is too much on what they can't, the external. And guess what? As my sports psychologist told me, when you focus on things you can't control, your anxiety increases. Think about a backseat driver. Their anxiety is through the roof. They don't enjoy the ride versus the driver, on the other hand, they're calm in most cases, unless they have road rage. And then in that case, they're focused on somebody else. But as athletes, what do? Are you focused on what people are thinking of you? Are you worried about whether coach is going to play you or not? You're recruiting, this, that, and the other things you can't control, the outcome of a game. You're not going to enjoy the ride. Your anxiety is going to be high because it's focused on things that you can't control. And we could take the same exact principles that we learn in sports in the mind strength realm, and you can apply them in anything in life.
Yeah. So, I'm with you. It's the same thing with me. My word is significance. I use it for everything because I was taught many years ago to replace the word success with significance. Don't just go for the win. Don't just go for the score. I got to understand what that means. What's the process to get there? How do I want to do it? What's right for me? Instead of just saying, I'm going to throw the ball 50 yards at this point and have him catch it. We got to put some practice into it. We have to understand why we're running that route. So I love that mentality. I want to talk about mental health because you've used the word anxiety a couple times and things like that. You had a great tragedy that you and your teammates dealt with your senior year. And I'm talking about Tyler Hilinski and his death. What did that do to you and your soul at that point of your young life? And I know you've got a couple other guys that got drafted around the same time you did. that had some mental health issues and didn't get to finish their career, some of your linemen. And I think, if we're honest, it must have affected all of you.
I would say it infected or it impacted all of us. How could it not? You go from this guy who seems to have it all together, who is the most bubbly individual I've ever been around, just happy, Bambi in a sense. It's just like he had a pep in his step. I wish I was that positive when I was going through it. And then obviously the tragic passing of it. So two things happened for me big time. One, it humanized sport for me. I had gone from a walk-on, and I viewed everybody that's in that quarterback room as like the enemy, competition. I'm not giving you a lick. I'm not doing anything. I wasn't that quarterback guy that was inviting the quarterbacks over. In fact, I wouldn't tell them opposite. I wouldn't tell them what we're doing, though, in terms of what I was doing and inviting people over. I was very limited in my thinking, very not abundant thinking in that regard. Their competition. And so his passing, it's, oh my God, could I have been a much better human to Tyler? Could I have? How did I not see this? So it really humanized it for me. And I took that same approach when I went to the NFL then. It's like, I quit viewing the guys in that quarterback room as competition and saw people we're all human beings. We're all going through struggle. We're all got some things going on. And it really humanized sport for me. That's the only way I can sum it up. So and I had guilt over it. I've had guilt over it for so long about that. I've been able to move past it because I was just doing the best I could. It's like I went from street mode of the walk-on type of deal to this thing happening. All right, I can't do anything about it. What can I learn from it though? Okay, that's what I'm trying to do moving forward. The second thing is that it showed me that it is a great strength to ask for help. Right? It's actually strong to ask for help. I actually had some of my own mental health issues in 2019 I get cut. My dad got a diagnosis of cancer at the time. My mom, she had been battling some mental health stuff. I had ended a 5-year engagement or a 5-year relationship. We were engaged at the time. And my dog died. I had a couple hip surgeries. And what am I doing? Who am I? I was really struggling. I called my sister. She could hear it in my voice. She said, "You need help." And I was so shameful to get help. All the old programming came back, even though Tyler had just passed 18 months earlier, or whatever the math is on that. Not a very long time. He's still very prominent in my thinking, what's it going to say about my masculinity? What are coaches going to think of me? What is this, that, and the other? And thank God I went and I did it. Thank God that my sister followed through and made sure that I did it, because you know what? That saved my life in some form of capacity. And so with Mind Strength, I tell people, it's not about perfection. Mind Strength's not about perfection. I'm not telling you, you go through and you read my book or you do my program or you do any of this stuff that you're going to be perfect. No, there's going to be bumps in the road. You're going to have to call audibles at times. What Mind Strength to me is about, it's upstream, right? I think I heard Tony Robbins talk about this. It's like you've got upstream and then here's the waterfall. And all our systems and our programs are working on the waterfall right now after the falls happen. Mind Strength's just working on upstream. That doesn't mean that you won't fall off the waterfall every now and then. It's like learning how to change a tire before you need to learn how to change a tire. Great, you can fix it, you can keep moving. But what happens when all 4 tires blow? What happens when the car blows up in that sense? You need help. And the audible that you ask for then, the Mind Strength audible you ask for is, I need help, and you go seek it. And so that's why I think therapy and that type of support, it's absolutely, I think, a huge Mind Strength gift, and it's part of my Mind Strength practice. Shoot, I've had 2 therapy sessions this week about things that I'm going through right now. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I think especially just like any industry, I've got really great people in my corner in that regard that can help me, that can help support me in my journey. And so I really encourage people to, if they're going through struggles, issues, stuff like that, it's not shameful, especially with men, right? Especially with men. Women, they seem to be more open or receptive to go receive the help. And men, that's weak. That's weak. What's somebody going to say about me? No, I think it shows great strength. I think it helps your masculinity. It helps you become a healthy man so you can be a great human being in that regard. So one thing, too, I just want to say, the Hilinskis have done a phenomenal job with the tragedy of Tyler in terms of making an impact. I can't imagine what they've gone through. A lot of people probably wouldn't do what they've done. What they've done is created Hilinski's Hope, trying to end stigma for mental health, especially when it comes to student athletes, and provide them resources. what they've done is created this thing called Student Athlete Mental Health Week. And it's at the beginning of each October. It's a full week long. And you'll see your favorite football team in college or your favorite sport, whatever it is, soccer or whatever's going on. You'll see their emblem or their sticker on the back. It'll have the light blue and green and then the number 3 on it. And so I think they have over 200 schools participating in it now.
Fantastic.
Talk about that. I'm proud to say this year I'm teaming up with them and using the book as a resource because part of their mission is to provide resources. What better than a Mind Strength book for student athletes? Great. And all the proceeds that come using their special link that we've got for them, giving 100% of the proceeds to them to help them with their cause and also hopefully provide a resource for these student athletes. So I'm proud to do my part. Like I said, I had guilt with Tyler's stuff. I can't do anything about that now. What I can do is try to help moving forward and further his legacy.
Luke, I know we don't know each other well, so take this for what it's worth from a dad and an old coach. I'm so proud of you, man.
Appreciate that.
I'm so grateful that we have your voice in this world right now because it's so important.
It means a lot. Thank you.
We can't have you speaking to teenagers and athletes and coaches and parents enough for the message that you have and the experiences that you've had and the humility that you see those experiences with. So keep doing what you're doing. I want to get some advice from you because every football team, every basketball team, every soccer team, men and women, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's pro, it doesn't matter if it's college, it doesn't matter if it's youth. Everybody's got a Tyler. There's probably 3 or 4 Tylers. There's probably 3 or 4 Lukes that are going through what you went through and Matt's what I went through. What are some of the things as parents that we need to be doing proactively as much as being aware of what we're watching and what we're looking for? So you talked about how bubbly Tyler was and how joyful he was and how fun he was and what he put out externally. What are some of those things we need to do as coaches and parents and teachers to be proactive with our youngsters?
That's a great question. I'm probably not qualified to even answer it.
You are more than you think because you know what you needed and what you got.
Yeah.
You talked about your parents made it a priority to get you sports psychologists in front of you, right?
Yeah, totally. I think just the more and more that you can, here's what has helped me the most when it comes to quote unquote my mental health. So I can't speak on to, I'm not a therapist, I'm not licensed, whatever, but I can talk about my own experience, like you said. It comes down to this. It's like letting them know as an individual that they're loved no matter what. I struggled with self-love. I struggled with loving who I was. I didn't like my body. I didn't like my circumstances. I didn't like me. I didn't love me. And then sometimes you hear, my dad was very big on this, and I love it to this day. It's, I love you. I didn't like what you did. He was always trying to affirm me. I love you. The action that you took, I don't like. That we're not going to do that. Now, obviously, it didn't sink into me in terms of the self-love that I had, but I think the greatest thing that you can do is try to help them create an identity of love within themselves. And for me, that's through my faith now. It's like, that's the bedrock for my mind strength. If you don't have that, in my opinion, you're living off of the outcomes, what people think of you, comparisons, and it's an anxiety-ridden, I call it the teeter-totter trap. It's an anxiety-ridden type of playground that I wouldn't advise anybody be on. And all those things are things you can't control. So what's helped me the most is to look at myself in the mirror and genuinely have a love and appreciation for who God made me to be. And knowing that my worth, it doesn't change based upon whether I won or whether I lost. It's unchanging, unwavering. It's God-given. And whatever your belief system is, like I went through a program called Al-Anon. I don't know if any of the listeners know what Al-Anon is, but it's a recovery thing for family members that have family members that are alcoholics. And one of the greatest things at the end is having a spiritual relationship within your own personal relationship of it. I come from Utah. Obviously, there's a predominant religion here. And sometimes it's, if you don't fit the mold in that religion, then people just go away from that. So anyways, not to go down that path, but I think it's important because if you don't have your identity on something that's unchanging, unwavering, now you're living the highs and lows. And that can get you in some dark places, like it did me. Right? If I'm not the football player and that's where my identity was, if I'm not this, that, and the other, if I'm the way people look at me, I'm in the dumps. Now I'm depressed. Now I'm allowing my worth to be based off of things I can't control and things that are always going to be up and down for me.
Yeah. I went through the same thing. My identity was 100% as an athlete. And when that was taken away because of some injuries, and I didn't have the emotional and mental game that you're talking about, the mental strength, I moved all that energy into coaching. And then when I got out of coaching in my late 30s, early 40s, all of a sudden I realized that was my identity. I'd put all my weight and energy into the identity of being a coach.
Yeah.
And it's taken me into my 50s to understand that's not my identity. That never was my identity. My identity is the gratitude and the generosity I give to others, and how I raise my kids, and the love I give other people. And whether that's coming from a foundation of faith or a foundation of love.
It becomes value driven.
Value
driven. It's not. Yeah.
And that's my concern with young athletes right now, is a lot of them can say the words you're saying, that my faith is my foundation, and
the talking points.
It's talking points, but there's nothing behind it. It's a mask. And that's my concern with
I think,
could you have felt this way when you were 17, 18?
I think you can, if you have somebody like, I agree. I see even these college quarterbacks that say the right things. They've been but I know that it's not, I can see me in them, of knowing at that, right? I said when I'm at Washington State, I don't care about what people think of me in the media. I just want to bullshit. I cared immensely. I cared so much because that's what I tied my worth to. How I'm viewed, how did I win, all that stuff. So I think what it does in order to crack the deal, I think you can. I haven't lived it, so I can't say for sure, but I think you can. If you had maybe somebody who's gone in their shoes and expressed how much they disliked themselves, and that's why that they felt they needed to rise to the top. In fact, a lot of high achievers, I think, feel that. It's like they're trying to get the love that they might not have gotten at other places, and they're trying to make up for it by achieving. And people then will pat you on the back. But here's the thing. We beat USC. I have 500 text messages flood in after we beat number 5 USC. I get cut from the Jets. I have 10 text messages flooded.
Right.
Minshew mania happens. Who am I now? Well, it was I called it a quarter life crisis. I went in a quarter life crisis. I had to figure out for the first time, who really am I? And it's still a process. It's not like I wake up every day and I'm just 100%. I love exactly who I am. I'm 100%. No, it's just like mind strength. It's a practice. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And I could share a poem with you. I'd love to share it with you. I share it because I think when I go talk to these macho college programs or even high school programs, and I talk about this poem, I get people, I can see the shift in their eyes. They know they're hearing them in the story. And then they ask me, can I take a picture of that? Hey, I got an AD. Can I take a picture of that? Because so many of us struggle, I think, with this topic of self-worth, feeling like we're good enough, blah, blah, blah. And it goes like this. And I wrote this when I was the offensive coordinator at Northern Iowa. I'm in just one of those, sometimes I get in these low points, and it's like something is brewing in me. Something's working. And it was in this moment that I had this insight. It's, who cares what they think? I surely do. Every move I've made, I've thought of the review. How will I look and what will they say? Will I win their love and approval for just one more day? Why do I do this? How can it be? Does it all stem from a deep root of a lack of love for me? And if this is so, how then do I grow? The answer becomes clear. Start loving the man who is standing in the mirror. And I say that now. I must have recited that however many times at this point. I get chills every time because it's truth. It's truth. And if you do that, you take the handcuffs off of needing any outcome, anybody telling you how good you are, anything like that, comparison, whatever. And you can just have peace in your life and knowing that you're enough. And that doesn't mean that you don't work hard. It just means that you can play with house money. You can cut it loose. And anyways, that's a constant battle for me and a constant workout for me to this day. So I think if you have, I think you can get it. But I think it's a process and a journey.
Yeah, it really is. Experience is so important. It's so hard for me to tell kids that everything they're going through is a part of where they're headed. It's a part of who they're going to be, and they need it. They need the hurt. They need the stress. They need to know how strong they are. They need to know they can overcome. They need to know they can become the person they want to be. And they may not know who that is yet. And until they have those experiences and go through what you've gone through, what I've gone through, we don't get to be the person we want until we do that. So
Totally.
that poem, I'm going to post it.
It's in the book. It's in the book.
I was going to ask you if it's
chapter 2.
Can't wait to read your book.
Yeah, I think you're going to love it. I wouldn't. It's funny. In my career, I would never have been as confident telling somebody about something I did in my career because I wasn't that confident in being able to do it. With this book, the team around me that I had, anyways, I love it. I think it's going to be a game changing for people. And it's entertaining as well. It's not prescriptive. Here's stories and they'll be able to see themselves in those stories.
Can't wait. And I'll promote it and I'll make sure I get some of my kids reading it too.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to tell you something because I wish I would have heard it when I was your age because I needed it at your age. I really wish there would have been a Mike Leach at the NFL level for you because there's no doubt in my mind that you could have played at that level. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I enjoyed watching you play live and going back and watching your film again before today. Everything you want a quarterback to do and the spirit you played with and the arm strength, the ball just flies out of your hand. So whatever you do from here on out, know that you deserve to be at that level.
I appreciate it. It's funny though. It's like, I view all that, like you said, the experiences.
Yeah.
Everything I've gone through, I love playing football. It wasn't my purpose though. What I'm doing now, it is. And it's like all that was the apprenticeship, the highs, the lows, the hard, this, to help me do what I'm doing now. I'm glad I didn't play in the NFL. I can't say that when I got out, that was the case, right? That's one of those audibles. Easy. I think I'm going to play 10 years in the NFL. Hey, easy. Let me write this book. Let me write this program. Let me go through this. And this is now my journey. Because I started to swear. Stuff's going to happen. Stuff's going to happen. The defense might not give you what you want. They might blitz somewhere. What are you going to do about it? Easy. Move on. Focus on what you can control and adapt.
I want to talk recruiting with you. I want to do a little rapid fire with you. Just get some fun questions in your head and get some quick answers from you. Who's the toughest defensive player you ever faced?
Vita Vea. Yeah, Vita Vea. Really good.
Something else.
Yeah, he's a Super Bowl champion for a reason. We played Washington. That guy, I joke with my wife, he knows my body better than her. He was all over me every time we played.
It must have looked like a rhinoceros coming through the line.
Oh my gosh. It felt like they were rushing 7 when in reality it was 3, and he was a man amongst boys at that age. And he still is.
Great player. Strongest arm you ever saw close up?
Oh man. Josh Allen at the Senior Bowl, just guy had an absolute cannon.
Still does too.
Yeah.
NFL
great guy too. He was my roommate at the Senior Bowl. And
was he?
Yeah, he's like a guy I like really referring, especially when I work with a high school quarterback or college quarterback. It's like, that guy's confident humility. He's not boasting. He's not doing all this. He's really a genuine human being.
Yeah, he's really found himself, hasn't he?
I think so. I don't know him all that well. I know Sam better, and I know that those guys are buddies. If you're friends with Sam's the same way. He's just a great dude. And I think they haven't changed. It seems like they haven't changed. They've always been comfortable in their own skin, it seems.
Says a lot about a guy when they make that kind of money and things don't change and how they treat people and how they go about their business.
I listen to Dave Ramsey. It's like you become more of, who you already are. He became an even better guy. Both of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
NFL stadium you'll never forget playing in.
Definitely Gillette Stadium. First career start, playing against Tom Brady, defending Super Bowl champions, the guy that I had looked up to my whole life. I will never forget it. Maybe I haven't washed my hands since that day, I'm just kidding.
That's great. Best teammate leader you ever played with?
Jamal Morrow, best teammate of all time. Just a phenomenal football player, always positive, always wanting to do what's best for the team. He's in college coaching right now, and he's gonna take off. He's one of those guys that if I was still in college coaching, he'd have been one of my first hires because he's that type of guy you want on the bus.
Somebody came to you tomorrow with a job offer. What would you hope it would be?
Oh man, I like being the entrepreneur. So I would say, I don't know, maybe a job offer to work on mind strength with, let's say, one of these big conferences to create a curriculum to teach young people mind strength because I think it's needed. So they would hire me as a consultant to create the curriculum and come in and lead it.
Let's manifest that.
I like it. I am getting hired.
I love it. I love it. What's your best advice for coaches?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say I'm going to steal from Chris Peterson's here. So it's like you got to create a game plan for your life. So Chris Peterson, I listened to him on a podcast. Sorry, this is going to be a long-winded answer, but I listened to him on a podcast. I heard him talk about society's scoreboard and having your own game plan for your life. And he got out of college coaching because he felt like things got out of hand for him in that regard. And I asked Jake Browning to give me his number, Chris Peterson's number, before I got into college coaching. He gave me this worksheet of finding my mission. What are my values? What are the things in my life that are most important to me? And then make decisions based upon them rather than society's scoreboard. Lo and behold, my mission statement at that time was to help people live a self-actualized life through coaching, speaking, writing, whatever it looks like. I've changed the mission statement now to make it more of, hey, my goal is to help people live life to their full potential through strengthening their minds. And what helped me best do that? Well, it wasn't in college coaching because I was getting out of my values. I said family. Guess what? I wasn't spending any time with my family. I said, exactly. That's why you're out of it. So that helped me. Although I got off course, although I went down the path, although I did go chase what I call the society's scoreboard mountain, right? He called society score. I use it all the time now. It's like I was on the external mountain of what could it get me? How could people view me? I was still getting that external hit. And his message to me and looking at my game plan for my life, and then there was a diagnosis that happened in my family. It's like it put things in perspective for me again. And now when I make decisions, it's off of that. And if I don't make it off of that, then there feels something off in me. So I think too often coaches, they coach for the win and loss.
Yep.
Great. You'll have your moment in the sun, but will you have peace? Will you have the opportunity to pass the pillow test at night, knowing that you've made a contribution and a difference based off? That's why I love John Wooden. It's like the guy was a value-based coach and he did win. Sure, he won, but that wasn't the important thing to him. It was about making the decisions that were in alignment with who he was. So
I'm in full agreement with you on that. Where can people find you, Luke? If they want to get your book, they want to learn more about you and what you're doing, and they want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, my website's a great spot. It's coachlukefalk.com. Falk is a 4-letter word, starts with an F, ends with a K. No U in there, right? Falk. So coachlukefalk.com. My dad he'll love that I used his line right there for our last name. I've heard that pitch over and over again.
What's Dad's first name?
Mike. Yeah,
Mike
Falk. Yep. But so that'd be a great spot. They can follow me on all platforms, social media, on X, Instagram, LinkedIn at Coach Luke Falk. And then they can buy the book. So I think it's on every book platform right now, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and then they can also get on my website.
Give them the title one more time of the book.
It's called the Mind Strength Playbook. Master your mind, elevate your game. Well, I would have said life, but I know it's going to help you in the life area as well.
I love it, my friend. I'm so thankful we did this. I'm so thankful I got to meet you and hear your story. And if we can get more people listening to it, understanding that they're okay and that there's a path to happiness and a path to get over everything they might be dealing with. And it all starts with saying, hey, I need some help. Then we did something good today.
Yeah, I certainly agree. This has been very enjoyable. Love the questions, and thanks for having me on.
What an incredible conversation with Luke Falk. I came away deeply impressed, not just with his journey from walk-on to NFL quarterback, but with the way he's using those experiences to pour back into others. Luke has so much good to share with the world, from his openness about mental health, to his passion for coaching, to the wisdom in his new book, The Mind Strength Playbook. It's clear he's committed to helping athletes, parents, and leaders grow stronger in both performance and purpose. If today's episode resonated with you, I encourage you to pick up a copy of the Mind Strength Playbook when it releases on October 24th. It's a resource that belongs in the hands of anyone who wants to strengthen not just their game, but their mindset. Luke's story is a reminder that significance comes not from titles or stats, but from how we impact others. And I believe his best impact is still ahead of him. If you'd like to connect with me or learn more about my recruiting, coaching, and speaking resources and services, you can check me out at CoachMattRogers.com. Until next time, stay focused, stay humble, and keep chasing significance.